How's it going, everybody? I hope you're well. Welcome back to Music with Michelle, and welcome to my first reaction to the brand new Danny Brown album, Quaranta. I'm really not too sure what to expect from this album, but I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. I will be doing a tier list throughout the video as well, but I'll explain that more when we get to it. And yeah, let's not waste any more time and get straight into the first song. Ugh.
This rap shit done saved my life and fucked it up at the same time. Got pain in my heart, I can't hide. A lot of trauma inside, you can see it in my eyes. Nigga, you 40 still doing this shit. When you gon' stop, but God gon' make you quit. A lot changed since Triple X came out on my own. Gotta get to it, everything in pursuit of my dream. Push everyone away, not no one here for me. Nigga, you 40 still doing this shit.
Wow, what a great start to the album. But before I do get into that, I wanted to touch on the tier list that I mentioned at the start of the video. When I do these reactions, I like to do a tier list alongside it, and I'm sure you guys know how a tier list works, but in case you don't, pretty much the higher the tier means the more I like the song. So as you can see at the bottom tier there, we have Miss. This is the tier for those songs I feel like just don't hit at all. One above that is not for me. Now, sometimes a song could be good, but it's just not really for you. Middle tier, we have re-listen. Sometimes these songs, they take a couple of listens to understand if you really like it or not. Tier above that is straight into my playlist. Pretty much if I like a song during my first listen, then it goes straight into my playlist. And then the very top tier, I've named after Savage Nomad, because it's one of my favorite Danny Brown songs. Again, it was quite hard to pick one for Danny Brown, but you know, Savage Nomad's probably one of my favorite songs that I've heard from him. So if any songs go into this tier, it means that I think that they are on level with my favorite Danny Brown songs, and they're some of his best work. So going into the first song, which also shares the name with the album, a lot to sort of unpack here. First of all, I want to talk about the instrumentation. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I've got like a real soft spot for when, you know, hip hop, rap music incorporates a lot of bass guitar, electric, and this instrumentation was absolutely beautiful. It was subtle, but at the same time, it was quite hard hitting, really catchy and easy to listen to. And then Danny just absolutely floated on this instrumentation. Like a really introspective look into him and, you know, what he's been up to over the last 4 years since his last album came out. You know, talking about how rap saved his life, but also messed it up at the same time. Talking about how the money and the fame isn't always really cracked up to be. A really, really great introspective look at Danny there. And I think it's the perfect way to set the tone for an album. You know, the constant theme for this song really was that Quaranta is 40 in Italian, and it's all about, you know, he's in his 40s now and he's still rapping, like, what are you doing? And he's talking about that in this song and kind of how rap music has impacted his life so far. And so that could be the theme of the album, you know, taking those comments about he's too old to be in the game and still be making music. And this could be a bit of Danny Brown proving why he is still at the top of his game, and in my opinion, you know, one of the best artists in that hip-hop space. Yeah, in terms of the first song, I honestly wished it was a bit longer. I was really enjoying that beat and really enjoying listening to him talk. But I think from what, you know, we've got, I think I was really satisfied with it. I think it was an incredible instrumentation. I love the instruments and the guitar parts and the bass. And of course, the lyrics were great as well. And honestly, it's one of those songs that straight away I just knew I liked. And it's one that it's going to be on repeat for a while. I'm really tempted actually to put it straight into the top tier. I absolutely love that start. Yeah, let's hope that it continues from this point onwards. Okay, let's move on to the second song, which is called Tantor. Yeah, I'm really not too sure how to feel about that one. I'm pretty sure that was one of the singles that came out before the album. I chose not to listen to them as I thought I'd just, you know, wait until I listened to the whole album. But yeah, that felt like more of an intro than the first one, because it kind of had this like 80s detective, like Magnum PI kind of feel to it. It was a weird song, but it was kind of like a typical like Danny Brown beat, you know. It was just a bit unorthodox. The production was really cool, and there was a lot of sort of pop culture samples in there, especially towards the end with like the Michael Scott shout and stuff like that. But yeah, I really don't know how to feel about that one, to be perfectly honest. Like it's a bit of a weird one, but at the same time it was enjoyable. I think it's one of those ones that it probably kind of will get better the more you listen to it, so I'm going to put it in re-listen for now. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting way to follow up the first song. But yeah, I'll definitely give it a few more listens. But let's move on to song number 3, which is called Ain't My Concern.
rush to mistakes, but just wait your turn. Get what you need, what you want, you earn. Easy way to get it, tell me where to sign up. Me a glass, slice of humble pie, look myself in the eye. No rock and roll, but with this rap shit, a nigga sell his booty hole. What you doing over there? We doing this so this life won't last. New nigga in your spot, now he punching the clock and make him pay up. Don't stay up, sleep real well. Stop worrying about you niggas, started caring about myself.
Okay, that was another really great introspective look into the sort of brain of Danny Brown, talking about the kind of current state of rap and music as a whole. And I think what he's kind of saying in the song as well definitely backs up why Danny Brown is kind of a lot of people's favorite kind of unique artist, and people look at Danny Brown in like a different light. Because in this song, he was kind of referring to how people jump on trends all the time. You know, there's not really a lot of uniqueness into their own music and performances, whereas Danny Brown has always stayed true to himself and always tried to make music that he likes and not necessarily follow the trends. And that's definitely one of the reasons I think why Danny Brown's albums are held up in such high regard, is because they do have a kind of distinct place in the kind of wider hip-hop and music world, really. Like, his albums are very standalone, and he's the kind of guy that you know that if you want a certain type of music, you go to Danny Brown, because he has this own way of doing things. And yeah, it's another really great look into, you know, what Danny Brown's thinking, how he's feeling, especially for a guy who's been in the game for as long as Danny Brown has. You know, this kind of sounds like a bit of advice to the younger generation, being like, you know, don't always just piggyback off people and follow trends. Try and do something, you know, unique, and try and do something that other people aren't necessarily doing. In terms of the music though, I really like the beat, I really like the drums as well. Again, just using real instruments. It sounds like the bare necessity when making music, but you don't hear it as often as I would like anyway in kind of hip hop. So I'm a big fan of that, and I'm a big fan of what Danny was saying throughout the song as well. So yeah, I think no complaints. Just go straight into my playlist. Okay, let's move on to song number 4, which is called Dark Sword Angel.
Doing this, even without a record deal. Half the shit I say can be understood by executive. I'm from that crack rock, find your grandma where it rain. So what the fuck they gon' tell me about anything? Strap up, long as I got the rent, can't sell me shit. You ain't gotta put you out like Hannibal Burke. Got it all fucked up, thinking I won't work. Smoke with Dave Chappelle, the nigga think I laced him. Knew it was the pack he started talking about. Right, like it's the only thing that I'm good at. Check the big shopping, sold on the style. Try to put my finger in her like a rotary phone. If I take her for a spin, she would never come home. Bitch, put the squeeze on you like a corset. Now in my final friend yet, so watch me metamorphic. But he still packing, just gave him the hatchet. When it's after out, LeBron sent me on the Maverick. That kid's gotta eat. Just bought a drum from Sears and some patio seats.
Another insane beat there as well. Again, playing to that uniqueness. Just, you don't hear these kind of beats anywhere else. I love it. This one was a lot less kind of introspective, more punchy, a lot of, you know, funny lines in there, typical Danny Brown stuff. But I gotta say, the way the beat kept coming back, and it felt like every time it came back, took a pause and came back, it came back harder. Yeah, I'm not too sure who produced this track, but it sounds incredible. And yeah, I think it definitely is one that could go to the top tier. But I think for now, I'm just gonna put it straight into my playlist. But I'm a really big fan of that one. I'm not even too sure what kind of instruments were being used really throughout the whole song. There was a couple of, I think, synths in there that were being played, and you could hear like the electric guitar in the background. There was one that was kind of threatening to come in. You could hear the buzz, but it never really came in. Really cool beat once again. Let's see where we go with song number 5, which is called Y.P featuring Bruiser Wolf.
Do it. What? When we change the channel with the plies, wet clothes on the porch, we ain't have a dry. Spending food stamps, wait till you leave the stove. Too many in the bed, had to sleep on the floor.
I feel like we're building up something big.
When someone never fixed, when we come from broken homes, we was young, black and poor, being raised in Detroit. You can never learn what that nigga been taught. So
Detroit City, that's where I live. Feels like poetic justice, you get killed at the drive-in. Who gon' find you some work? Who gon' find you some work? We be fresh from the dirt, put you on a t-shirt. Wanna run like Barry? Coleman Young, Dennis Archer, kill Patrick. Pissy mattress in the alley, doing backflip. It's hard to fit in the murder mitten like OJ.
Young, black and poor, being raised in Detroit. You can never learn what that nigga been taught. Stuck in the middle between Blade and Dilla, surrounded by killers, couldn't see the big picture. Feeling lost in the world, they don't care about us. Back to the wall, we ain't had no plan. Everything about the city made me who I am. Trip to Wayne County, hope you don't get sent to Jackson. Middleman taxing to the story, just a fraction.
Alright, that's song number 5. Once again, a really cool old beat, and the beat actually kind of reminded me of Three Tears from his last album, his last solo project, you know what I'm saying. That kind of like baby voice that you can kind of hear in the background really reminded me of that song. I gotta say though, I really love Bruiser Wolf's part in this, especially the second verse that he was on, his first verse. Kind of had like a real throwback feel to it. Yeah, Bruiser Wolf had a bit of a Bootsy Collins feel to the first verse that he did. But yeah, the beat was really dark, really quite bouncy, and it was pretty much a case of the more the song went on, the more I enjoyed it. I think I put too much expectation on the first bit, as it felt like it was building up to like a nice beat drop or something like that, but it didn't really come as much as I thought it would. But still, I weren't disappointed. And yeah, I think it was just a case of one of those songs that I think I'm just probably gonna have to listen to a couple more times, so I'll put it in re-listen for now. But as I mentioned, the more I did listen to it, the more I liked it. So yeah, I think a couple more listens and I'll definitely start to really appreciate it for what it is. Okay, up next is number 6, Jenn's Terrific Vacation. I'm pretty sure this one was released as a single either last week or the week before, but once again, I haven't heard this one yet.
Who's that peeping in my window? I don't really know what they here for. On the corner just for the Starbucks. I was just looking for a come up. Tell me what they do when I'm black. It's slow when I'm money that low, but the rent rise up. White folks popping at the blue, they done tore that down and made that to a Whole Foods. Like on the street, built new condos, talking about 3 G's for a 2-bedroom. Who's that? Peeping in my window.
Okay, that's song number 6, Jenn's Terrific Vacation. I think it would definitely be one of Jaden Smith's favorite songs on the album so far.
Like, can we talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
I think a lot of good themes and topics that need to be spoken about in this song, you know, with the idea of gentrification and things like that. There's some good social commentary there from Danny. In terms of the song itself, didn't really do anything for me in terms of the beat, and nothing really hooked me as much as some of the other songs on here. So I think just from my initial impression, I would probably say that this one here probably isn't for me. But for me, the beat is kind of the most important thing, and it didn't really grab me as much as some of the others on here. So yeah, I think for now I'll put that in not for me, and let's move on to song number 7. And at song number 7 we have Down With It.
What the fuck I'm supposed to do now?
Ugh.
All alone, now I'm feeling like a clown. Should I listen to my homie when he told me slow down? Caught up in the moment, head was stuck in the cloud. All my fault for most of it. Thought I knew everything, but don't know shit. Off of me to think, trying to kill my pain, so I drink. I had a woman down with me, but to me, she was down to get me. Realizing that I love her. Thought that everything was sweet, now I belong to the street. Now it's all over, can't stay sober. Deep in my depression, hoping I can get over. I had a woman down with me. Now I'm realizing that I love her.
Probably a relatable song for quite a few of us there. But I gotta say, I absolutely love this side of Danny that he's showing on this album. You know, that's like the third or fourth song already where he's been really open, giving us like a whole new insight into how he was feeling, how he is feeling. And what I love as well is the kind of 2 different sides of Danny that we get on this project so far, which is, you know, you have that higher-pitched rapping Danny where it's more punchy and it's more funny. Then you have this more serious tone, which he's done on 2 or 3 songs already, especially the first song reminds me of that one. It's when he goes into a bit of a talking state, his voice is a bit deeper, and it's almost like him opening up. I think this beat was the perfect complement to that as well. Absolutely beautiful. The drum work was fantastic. That synth that was playing throughout was absolutely beautiful. Even the opening chords at the start, very melancholic, but at the same time, very daunting, very dark. And yeah, I think it complemented the lyrics and the theme of the song perfectly. You know, obviously the song is about a girl who he's no longer with and how negatively that has affected him. And yeah, once again, a very introspective song, which I'm really liking. And I gotta say, you know, usually the beat is the big one for me. That's whether I really like to listen to a song over and over again, because lyrics are great, but I think the beat is the one that keeps you coming back. And I think this song has a perfect mix of both. And I think for that reason, I think I'm gonna have to put it right at the top. I think it's no coincidence that my 2 favorite songs are quite similar. But yeah, this one just hit for me the same way the first song did. So I'm hoping that we kind of have a few more songs like that, because I've got to say I'm such a big fan of this kind of Danny Brown that we're seeing on the album so far. And yeah, let's move on to song number 8, which is called Celibate, featuring Mike.
If I knew you, I would send you to the store. Pulled up in the Porsche, playing Kenny Lattimore. Jesus Shuttlesworth for Butterworth. Used to call me Mr. Gip, what your money worth? I ain't got time, bitch, I'm rolly hunting. Had the big head, spinning small face hundreds. I used to sell a bit, but I don't fuck around no more, I'm celibate. Out of place like carpet in the kitchen. I'm in something, ain't got no ignition. But they lips poked out like what you talk about, Willis. No ill feelings, 8 ball look.
You used to Stella shit. It's the difference from the truth and how they telling it. I got a better grip on life, I peep it's delicate. You gonna have to check these niggas' lines, niggas' sentiments. When we talking Benjis and the vibe, feeling separate. I've been the friendliness. Only one to question me was God and the Federate. I used to celibate,
but I don't fuck around no more, I'm celibate.
Okay, that was number 8, Celibate, and I gotta say that beat, it kind of has the feel to it where I think over time, it kind of feels like a classic already, you know. It didn't venture too far away from the original beat, it kind of stayed the same throughout the whole of the 4-minute song, but I think Mike and Danny, I think their lyrics kept it interesting enough where the beat wasn't over reliant, where the lyrics kind of carried the song a little bit. So I gotta say that hook is absolutely genius. I think it's a brilliant hook, really catchy, definitely one of the best hooks I've heard in a while. But yeah, the song kind of speaks for itself with its themes, and it was just one of them songs that you kind of sit back and listen to. Again, there wasn't too much going on in terms of like the beat wasn't in your face, and there wasn't any like mad funny lines or anything like that. It was definitely one just to sit back and chill out to. I feel like this would be the kind of perfect song to listen to on vinyl if you have the vinyl playing it. It's the longest song on the album, and it just, yeah, it's really chill and easy to listen to, easy to kick back with. I feel like this would be a great song to listen to on like a long drive. But yeah, I'm really liking the kind of way that Danny's going with his vocals, because it kind of sounds like a different person almost sometimes. You listen to it thinking, you got to remind yourself that it is Danny Brown, because he is kind of more, it's more talking, as I mentioned, you know, he's talking more, it's kind of in like a deeper tone than his usual high-pitched style that he kind of goes for when he's kind of rapping more. And this song just perfectly complemented Mike as well, who kind of has that similar approach where it's more spoken, it's deeper, so they really bounced off each other really well, and Mike had a great verse as well. So I think for that reason, I think Celibate has to go straight into my playlist. Really great song, big fan of that one. And now let's move on to song number 9, and song number 9 is called Shakedown. It's first use of piano we've really heard so far, which is quite interesting.
You ain't fucking with these clowns, right? How you like me now? Gotta boss up and shake down. The clouds gotta go and get it now. Gotta boss up and shake down. Fuck all that talking loud, it's about right now. Gotta boss up and shake down. Mr. Way, you know me from ballin' like it's open run. Had me sitting to the side, couldn't even lean back. I done rose up the hole under that light pole. Now I pose wearing clothes, shit you don't even know. Now I understand the best things in life are free. Gotta boss up and shake down. Fuck all that talking loud, it's about right now. Gotta boss up and shake down. You don't felt like I was trapped until I got caught by myself looking stupid. What I'm supposed to do now? Going back the whole thou, but I take him right now. Gotta boss up and shake down.
You know what, that feels like I just got transported back to the sort of 90s, early 2000s, that R&B space. This has such a cool throwback feel to it. Such a beautiful song, such a floater song, but yeah, it just has those kind of old school R&B feels to it as well. I feel like so far this might be the most addictive song that I've heard, as in the one that I want to go back to and listen to the most times. And I think the fact that it came straight after the last song, Celibate, is such a smart move as well, because once again, if you're listening to this album in chronological order, those two just massively complement each other. Such an easygoing, melancholic song. Definitely a song that kind of rewards you for listening to, you know, headphones like this, where you can hear the song travel from left to right. Really great production. Again, I'm not too sure who produced it, but really great production. And yeah, I really love Danny Brown's voice on this as well. He's kind of shown us like 3 or 4 different tones that he can do with his voice. It just goes to show how diverse he really is, and he can literally make any kind of music at this point that he'd like to. We've had pretty much the whole spectrum on this album so far. Again, really catchy lyrics, memorable. I'm not sure if I'll put it at the very top, but it's definitely going straight into my playlist. Definitely one that could become my favourite over time though. So now let's see what the final 2 songs have in store for us with the penultimate song, song number 10, Hanami or Hanami. I really have no idea where these last 2 songs are going to go. It's exciting though.
They say age catching up, so I'm running from death. I done walked through the fire, tripping on heaven's steps. God, should I still keep going or call it a day? Can't have writer's block, might be out on the block. Time wait for no man, so you can't waste time. Can't get time back, time at the time. Life don't last any day that day. It's your time, don't care how much you pray. Even with all the stress, a nigga still feel blessed. Could've ended right there on them Claremont steps. Time wait for no man, so you can't waste time. Can't get time back, time at the time. Time wait for no one, so you can't waste time.
Oh, once again, it's just unreal. I'm kind of running out of things to say at this point. Once again, like, the instrumentation is absolutely beautiful. I love the importance that this album seemed to have placed on, you know, using real instruments, because there has been a real kind of change in live music, especially. You kind of notice a lot more hip-hop rappers in their live performances, they're now having a full band behind them. I saw JID a few months ago in London. He had like a full band, and Danny Brown's doing a show in London next month, and I'm sure he'll have a full band with him as well, because so many of these songs can just be replicated live and it will just sound incredible, I'd imagine. I think as well, like, one of the biggest takeaways from this album is the hooks have been incredible. They're so punchy and memorable, and I think that's such a hard thing to get right, but it seems like pretty much every song or every other song has a memorable hook in it. You had the old and new influence there as well, where Danny's taking his old school influences, because you had like so many kind of soul, funk, jazz elements in this song combined with kind of more modern musical influence as well. Another reflective song as well, where he's kind of telling us about his life, his career, addiction, things like that. The outro was brilliant as well. Dropped out, came back in. That little guitar lick that was playing was absolutely beautiful. And it's actually been one of these albums where it seems to have gotten better the more it's gone on, which is such a rare thing these days. You don't see it a lot, really. There hasn't really been a drop off, and I know I've got one song which is in the Not For Me, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad song. I just, me personally, I didn't really like it, but it's such a consistent album. The production's been incredible, and I think for this song, I think it's going to have to join the other two at the top. It's going to my top tier. Absolutely love it. Can't wait to listen to it again. And that leaves us with one more song, and it's quite sad because I don't really want this album to end. I've really enjoyed it. As I said as well, I think it's getting better the more it goes on. But let's get into the final song, which is song number 11, which is called Bass Jam. Okay, here we go with the final song. I know the song's called Bass Jam, but if it is a whole song where the main focal point is a bass, I'm going to be very, very happy.
Hold up, that's my shit. Play it one more again. Play
Oh.
it one more again. Hold up, that's my shit. Play it one more again. Play it one more again. Cleaning up the house, Mary J on cassette. Running home from school, loose ends on blast. Tying up loose ends, running low on cash. Now we just laughing, jamming to the oldies, dealing with emotions. Never heard I'm sorry, have her shedding tears, so we talk through the chorus. Hold up, that's my shit. Play it one more again. Play it one more again. Hold up, that's my shit. Play it one more again. That was back in the days, it wasn't about no clout. Niggas made music about what they really bout. Have us shedding tears before we get to the chorus. Hold up, that's my shit. Play it one more again.
Wow, what a beautiful way to end an album. I said at the start of the song that if bass is the main instrument, I'm going to absolutely love it. And yeah, that kind of exceeded my expectations. Really not what I expected from Danny Brown, but oh my God, that was beautiful, especially with the chords being played on the bass. Oh, perfect. Obviously a beautiful song lyrically as well, talking about his mum and his childhood and his upbringing. I always think that when rappers do these songs about their mums, it's always usually a hit. Like you think back to Drake with You and the Six, 21 Savage, Letter to My Mama, and now this one by Danny Brown. This song was beautiful, it was emotional, it was smooth. So many cool elements musically happening here as well. And one of those songs that you can't really put into a genre because it kind of blended so many. But I gotta say, I feel like this song is kind of the perfect encapsulation of how this whole album has been, because it has definitely fallen on the more kind of emotional, vulnerable side. So many melancholic elements, and I think this song perfectly surmises that. So with that being said, I honestly think this is one of the best songs I've heard in a very long time, so yeah, no shadow of a doubt for me. It's going to go straight to the top, and that is my final tier list. So yeah, as you can see on screen, that is my final tier list. 11 songs in total, only one of them in the Not For Me, which was Jenn's Terrific Vacation. Again, not a bad song, just personally, not for me. I can't really see myself listening to it too many times. 2 songs in the re-listen, and 4 in straight into my playlist. But at the top there, we have 4 songs which I consider some of Danny's best work. You know, I do these tier lists quite a lot, and it's actually really rare for nearly 40% of the album to be in the top tier, but that's just how I felt about this album. I think it's been absolutely incredible. And those 4 songs there, Quaranta, Down With It, Hanami, and Bass Jam, are some of the best songs I've heard from Danny Brown. I'll admit I haven't listened to all of Danny Brown's albums, and I definitely plan to on this channel in the future. But if these songs here are anything like stuff he's produced before, then I'm definitely going to be checking it out because I'm a massive, massive fan of those 4 songs in particular. But yeah, that is my tier list. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with my placements. Would you have placed any songs differently? And let me know what your favorite songs on the album are. So that was my first reaction to the brand new Danny Brown album, Quaranta. Absolutely exceeded expectations. I wasn't expecting this kind of album. To be honest, I didn't know what I was expecting, but it definitely wasn't this. I wasn't expecting it to be so chilled, laid back, melancholic. And I really love how introspective most of the songs are, giving us a kind of deeper insight into Danny's life. I'm a big fan of his podcast, and he's very open on there as well. So it's not really a surprise that he has come across that way with his music. But it is always good to see an artist be comfortable enough to kind of project his feelings into songs and do it in a way where it wasn't overtly depressing. You know, the instrumentations are still really catchy, and I think they complemented each other so well. I think the features on this album complemented them as well. They all did a really good job, especially Mike, and I'm definitely a fan of more slower paced songs, and this album just has so many songs that kind of fit my ideal rap song. I think it's definitely an evolution for Danny Brown as well, you know, especially the tones that he's using when he's rapping, because sometimes he has that really high pitched voice, sometimes more deep, and then you have songs like Hanami where it's just a completely new side of Danny Brown that I haven't heard before, but it all worked. There wasn't one song on here which I thought didn't work. The production was fantastic, and I'm a big fan of how the more the album went on, the better it got. I feel like that's such a rare thing nowadays, but yeah, honestly, this is 11 songs of pure quality. I don't think there's any skips, although one of the songs weren't for me. I definitely wouldn't skip it if it was on a vinyl or if I was listening to the whole album from start to finish. As I mentioned briefly, I haven't really dived too far into Danny's discography, but I definitely want to, because I know that a lot of his earlier work is held in such a high regard. I was a big fan of his 2019 album, you know what I'm saying, but I'm definitely going to be reacting to his earlier albums on this channel as well. Definitely something that I plan to do in the future. So if that sounds like something you would be interested in and you enjoyed the video, please feel free to subscribe. And let me know in the comments below as well what your favorite song was, what you thought of the album. I want to say a big thank you if you've made it this far into the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a nice day.